So what's it like to come to things like the expo and actually connect with your fans and actually meet them?
Yeah, this is my first one, so this will be a new thing for me. I did go to Comic-Con this year, but as a fan to hang out, and they showed the first episode of Heroes, and that day people started stopping me and they're like, "You're on Heroes," but that was my first experience. You've been to a lot.
I've been to a bunch of them, but Comic-Con, and this expo is basically just like Comic-Con, what we have in the States. It's insane. People dress up in their favorite characters, and thank God there's a lot of security. Let me just put it that way. These people are crazy. We're crazy for them, they're crazy for us, and there should be a big, thick glass barrier between us and them. No, I love them, and well, one guy sends me a thing and says his wife is a huge fan of mine, so I sent him a picture back and on it to her, and I said, "Call me, seriously." And I signed my name. It was just whatever, a joke. He sends me back, he takes a picture of himself naked, but he's laying it on the side, but for his bulldog sitting here blocking what I don't or anyone wants to see, and it's written to my wife. Okay, that's the strangest thing that I've ever experienced. Of course, I treasure that picture.
That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty great.
I'm impressed.
It's really great.
What's it like to work on Heroes?
We're really lucky, to be on such an amazing show. But the show itself is, it's like shooting a movie every week. But it takes about 2 weeks to shoot an episode. And just the effects and the number of people you get to work with, and the crew and the writers and the producers are always there and the writers there. It's just like this big team effort.
The one thing that we have in common with the people watching the show is it's a surprise for us every week because the special effects add so much to the show. I go like that. That's about all I do, and they add the boom, 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 and the sounds and all that stuff. So it really is, a first-time experience when we get to see the show.
Does anyone ever on set go, "I've just read my script and none of this makes sense," with all the different plot lines that are...
I only read my stuff.
That's true. He's kidding. He's acting like he's kidding. It's totally true.
No. There are times, believe me, and I get calls. I'll get my dad will call me when every episode's airing in the middle. Inevitably, the phone rings, and my dad's like, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on?" And my dad doesn't even have an accent, but he puts it on for his phone call. He's like, there are times when it's a little confusing, but the writers are so good at explaining stuff, later in that episode. It's not like some other shows, it takes 6 episodes to get an answer. It's not like that on our show.
In the future, we see that both your character, Daphne, and Greg's character, Matt, become married and have children. So how does that happen? Is it like speed dating?
It is like speed dating.
On our show, it looks like speed dating. What's cool? How cool is this storyline, though, when you think about it? So you know who you're supposed to be with. It's the ultimate. Look, my character, all he wants is a family and a beautiful wife and just to have a normal life. So he sees that in the future. Now he gets the chance to meet this woman for the first time at the airport. Don't screw it up, And on our show, every little thing can change the future. So that's where my character's been put into that position, and I loved when I saw that. And I'm being guided by a turtle. Come on. Only on American television and now British television. Come on.
And my character just thinks he's crazy, because he does eventually find her.
With you both having, or your characters, I should say, having special powers, what kind of powers would the baby have, or has that not been discussed?
No, tell the story, what you think.
Yeah, I have this great idea where you cut to, I don't know, a couple years in the future, or not even a couple years in the future, and Matt's somewhere and his phone rings and he answers the phone and you cut to Daphne and she's like, Matt, Matt, and she's sort of dangling in the air, you don't know what's going on, and then you pan down and the baby's holding her up. She's like, "We have to talk, Matt. The baby has powers." That kind of stuff is really cool.
Will there be any friction when Parkman finds out that the Daphne that he's with is not the Daphne that he was expecting?
I keep saying the same thing over and over again in the show. You are a good person. How many times have I said that in the show?
A lot. Yeah, I think that's part of that's the interesting part, is that you have these two characters that are so distant, you think, but in reality, I think their core goals and their personalities actually go together really well. Like, in the end, they do both want, someone to be with.
I'll tell you this, the reveal of exactly why she got her powers, why those powers were given to Daphne, there's this huge reveal, and it's emotional, and it's surprising, but it makes perfect sense. When we read that, when I read that in the script, I was like, this is incredible. We've never done this before on the show, and it's pretty powerful. We just shot it, so you guys are going to have to wait about 2.5 months, but it's pretty great.
So what did you think when you first found out that the two of you would be a couple in the future?
I was really excited because I was a big Alias fan, so I was nervous because it was Heroes and then nervous because it was Greg, but I mean, it ended up working out okay.
I'm a really difficult person to work with.
Yeah, can you imagine?
My character has picked the wrong woman, the wrong woman over and over and over again on this show. I mean, my wife cheated on me, and the baby turned out not to be mine, and now, I've fallen in love with someone that is a villain, is trying to kill me. It's just, sort of the way my dating went before I met my wife. No, I'm really happy. I really, really am. We work really well together. So, yeah, we're lucky.
So you actually admit that Daphne's a villain. Does she actually have a change of conscience, I should say, and become a nice person?
In the next few episodes, you're going to see why she's doing what she's doing, or who she's in line with, and you start to see that she's not okay with some of the choices she has to make. I mean, she definitely has, her morals are not the same as like those of Knox or definitely like Arthur Petrelli. She's not, a girl's going to run around killing people. She's more of a thief who happened to get in line with these bad people.
Just like other characters. I mean, Siler, they're making him into a sympathetic character, or at least trying to, and it's really interesting that he's this victim and he's telling Peter, you don't want to become what I've become, and it's too late. And so it's when we started the volume of villains, it's not so cut and dry as to who's good and who's bad. Characters that, me for example, I mean, I'm just about to go into a really dark place on the show, which is cool. And I have to say, you go to the expo and people will line up and it's confusing. You've got the bad guys and the good guys, and it's not as simple as that, and I think that's why there's plenty of sympathy here for the character of Daphne.
And what is the significance of Daphne's track medal?
Oh my God! So I said that in some interview, and I don't remember what it was, but I said.
Did you pick that up from the interview or from watching the show?
Well, from the show, because I can remember.
That's great.
Having it when he appeared at the.
Don't say anything.
No.
Don't say anything. That's huge that you picked that up.
Yeah, I think you'll reflect back and think about that track medal later.
Yeah.
Brea and Greg, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.